Dave, can you tell us what is it that got you doing the research that led to this paper?
You may know that we have a Health Technology and Policy Unit in the School of Public Health, where the research that we've done is all around how decisions are made about new technologies in healthcare. And this is one of the projects that's come out from that. As we know, health systems nowadays are very technology intensive, and every other day it seems that there's an announcement of some new or promising health technology that's on the market or coming out of the market. So anytime there's a promising technology that come up, there's a demand from patients and providers and health professionals as well to make these technologies available. Now, this has increased in the past few years. The problem, though, is that quite often these technologies enter the healthcare system without a whole lot of information about how well it works, what its side effects are, what the impact on the health system might be. This is unlike drugs. You probably know that by the time drugs get into health systems in Canada, they've undergone extensive clinical trials for years. They've even got evaluations to look at the economic impact. All of those things are done formally before a government faces a decision. But with devices and clinical procedures, this is not the case. For example, the liberation treatment or the Zamboni procedure for MS is an example of this. So the problem is these things appear, hold promise for people, generate reasonable demand, but the position of governments and hospital administrators is there just isn't enough evidence on clinical effectiveness and so on to make a decision and to fund it. And so we're in a catch-22 situation where you have a promising technology that people claim is not proven enough, and you can't prove it and collect evidence unless it's used. So we thought that we would take a look at this area where we believe that there may be promising technologies that just aren't getting into the system because we don't have a process of generating the evidence.
Can you describe what this paper is about?
Yes, ultimately it presents a checklist. The checklist is to guide policymakers and researchers to design studies which we call Access with Evidence Development, AED, so that we can provide access in a limited, controlled way to patients of promising new technologies, while at the same time requiring certain evidence be collected to answer the uncertainty questions that exist, obviously. We held some workshops, a couple of them were international workshops, to look at what other jurisdictions have done, the good, the bad, and the ugly of such schemes around the world. And then last year, based on the findings of the previous workshops, which have been published, had a workshop in Alberta with Alberta Health Services and Alberta Health and Wellness, senior staff as well as clinical opinion leaders to try to see how we could move this forward in Alberta. And there was agreement on some of the things that need to be done, on criteria that need to be developed about what technologies are appropriate for this, and who needs to be involved, and what the stopping criteria should be. When should a study be stopped? It will require time-limited and well-defined studies. It will require, unlike most recent studies, many stakeholders to be involved, and therefore agreements have to be made. It goes beyond clinical trials. But ultimately, the paper is a checklist. And we present in the paper how this checklist could be applied if one wanted to design a study to evaluate the Zamboni procedure.
And what are the implications of this research?
Well, I believe that this checklist is a first step towards trying to implement appropriate studies to collect evidence while providing access. There are examples around the world of some of these trials which end up as being research studies that go on for 7, 8, or 10 years because they were never designed. Or they've been designed collecting the wrong information, and 7 years down the road, they are essentially just scientific pieces of work that have no use to policy. But more importantly, I think, as a result of the work we've done in this area, we were just asked by Alberta Health and Wellness to develop a program for the province to implement Access with Evidence Development. We're particularly proud because I think, given our role in the School of Public Health, where it's important for us to be doing engaged research and engaged scholarship, this is a clear example of how rigorous research that we've done can help inform government policy and ultimately affect health outcomes.